most favorite times of the year, and I know I'm not alone. Right here in the border city, decorations are starting to pop up everywhere, and the countdown to the scariest day of the year has begun. But before all the trick-or-treating, here at ATR we have some tricks and tips if you plan on celebrating All Hallows Eve with your furry friends. According to Celtic folklore, the veil between the physical world and the spiritual one is at its thinnest on October 31st. So, folks dressed up as spirits to confuse the real ghosts and spirits. But how do you explain this confusion?
The pet-animal bond is a really strong bond, and as sort of everything's evolved, dogs used to be mainly as working dogs, and there's still dogs that are working dogs, but the pet component has definitely increased within the last even 20 years. And so now we see more people have pets more as a family member than as just a working dog or cat. And so we do see that people are treating their pets as family members. And so that's where we are seeing more things like costumes and that things developing, because, you know, people dress up their kids. Why don't we dress up our pets? So that's kind of what we're seeing as time goes on.
These adorable little pumpkins sure are dressed to impress, but when it comes to doggy dress up, is your pet as amused as you are?
Well, I guess the first thing is you have to have the right animal. Some dogs and cats are fearful to begin with, and so if you all of a sudden take a fear dog and put them in a costume, sometimes that can be enough that you can get episodes like inappropriately urinating in your home and that sort of thing. So you have to have the right dog to even try to put a costume on. And there are certain pets that are on anti-anxiety medications just in general, and those are pets that really you should stay away from costumes in general. Because Halloween is a very scary time for pets. In general, like, I don't dress up for Halloween in the clinic because clinics are a scary place to be for pets sometimes anyway. The last thing we want to be is like, at your pet and have a scary costume on it. It might just send them over the edge. So I don't tend to dress up at the clinic on Halloween. But at home, you just have to have the right pet and the right costume.
And know the right way to do it if you want to include your little hot dog or bumblebee in your spooky celebrations.
There are several things that you can do. Don't buy it the day before. Have a costume if you're going to try to put one on your dog. Introduce it slowly. There are things that you can do to try to decrease their anxiety. There is a product called Dog Appeasing Pheromone. It's a spray. It's an anti-anxiety thing that you can spray on things and introduce it to them. It's a non-prescription product. You can pick it up at any vet clinic. And so you can spray that on the costume and introduce it slowly. Put part of it on or let them sniff it first, and then introduce it slowly so that they get used to it.
I'm at the Pet Pad in Lloydminster with Amber, and we're talking about some things you can do at Halloween with your dog, and one of the top concerns, of course, is safety.
Yes, ID tags are really important. We make them on site here at the store. When you're out at night on Halloween, good visibility is important. We have blinkers here that light up, and we also have collars that light up as well, which are really important. There's reflective leashes and collars that work as well.
And if your dog isn't big on dressing up, there's always accessories and smaller things you can do.
Yes, we have the sweaters that work. We also have festive bandanas that can work. They're great for dogs who don't like the costumes or being dressed up.
And another thing that I think is really cool, it's not a costume at all, it's actually dye for your dogs.
It's semi-permanent hair dye. It washes out with 4 to 6 washes, and we have all sorts of colors that you can think of.
And I'm guessing it's non-toxic and completely safe for them.
Yes, absolutely.
And of course, on Halloween, if you want to go all out with your dog, there are hundreds and hundreds of costumes to choose from. What are your tips on picking the best costume for your animal?
You want to make sure it fits properly. You don't want it to be too big or too tight. Make sure that it doesn't impede on their senses, like their eyesight or their hearing, and that they can walk properly in it.
So can you buy a costume, take it home, make sure it fits?
Yes, for sure. You can even bring your dog in and try it right on in the store if you want to.
I really can't decide what costume I like best, and when ATR returns, we put some to the test on some real live dogs to see which ones they like the best, or at least tolerated the most. Please stay with us.